I'm a 2000s kid, which meant watching many of the era's cartoons, specifically on Cartoon Network. I also watched a lot of Nickelodeon and some Disney Channel, but I primarily watched CN. You had the Dexters, the Kids Next Door, the Fosters, the Ben 10s, Powerpuff, Courage, Grim Adventures, Chowder, Johnny Test. I didn't even hate Johnny Test, I just don't know what else to say. But out of all the shows on the network, there was one that I loved the most, and still to this day, which, you can guess by the title of the video alone, is Ed, Edd, and Eddy. First airing in 1999, Ed, Edd, and Eddy is a Canadian animated show created by Danny Antonucci and his studio aka Cartoon. Following a trio of friends and their adventures to scam the kids at the cul-de-sac out of their quarters for those sweet, delicious jawbreakers. It was the longest running show on the channel, lasting for 10 years with several specials, including the series finale, The Big Picture Show. I say was the longest, as it was beat by Teen Titans Go just last year. I love the show, from the characters, even if some of them are complete dicks, the slapstick comedy, and the ever-bizarre situations the Eds get themselves into. Fun fact, by the way, the series only exists because of a dare given to Antonucci to create a children's show after his previous attempts with adult animation weren't successful. And of course, like any popular cartoon of the era, there was the eventual licensed video game, first being Jawbreakers on the Game Boy Advance. It's a big doo-doo. Even as a kid, I never liked this game. It was slow and frankly really boring, with annoying design like Double D just fucking move! There was giant Jawbreakers for mobile phones, which I only just learned of now, and ain't this just Buster Brothers? Then there was Scam of the Century on the DS, and the only one I haven't played, but it certainly looks like a game. I just don't know what this game's even about. For today's video, it's the sole console game with the Ed's name, being the Mis-edventures. Released in 2005 for about every system, I still remember getting this as a Christmas present of that year, and I remember playing it a hell of a lot as a kid. Mostly because it's the Eds, and I sort of any Eds media I could find, including all the Flash games on Cartoon Network's site. Rest in peace. Published by Midway and developed by Artificial Mind and Movement, a studio that primarily made licensed video games during the 2000s, all of varying quality. They would eventually change their name because the abbreviation is too similar to A2M, which, if you don't know, means ass to mouth. And if you think I'm making this up, I'm not. Reverting it back to their original name, Behavior Interactive, and continuing to develop licensed games and doing some support work for other games. They also made Dead by Daylight, but that's not important right now. I haven't fully played through this game since I was a kid. I still own the original copy, however I can't play it because... Though a while back I did have the urge to play it again after watching a friend livestream it. Now, let's see if this holds up, or it's just another average license game. Let's talk Ed, Edd, and Eddy, the Mis-edventures. You have to emphasize the Ed in the title, that's just how it works. There's no real overarching story, all the levels play out as an episode of the show, title card included, starting with Scam 1, Cool Your Ed. Eddy schemes of a plan to steal ice from the neighborhood kids to create snow cones and sell them during the hot summer day. Thus, we are thrown in and... Damn, you know what? They nailed the style of the show to a T, even with the shaky outlines on the characters. Even if the actual character models themselves can be very well, to be blunt, very off-putting, and sometimes horrifying. This has always been a common issue when transferring 2D drawn characters to 3D models. Some look fine and others, not so much, like, good lord, look at Kevin, dude literally has a shovel chin. And the Eds themselves, ooh, I mean, just look at this cut recreation of the intro that's in the game's files. There are 2D cutscenes in the same style of the show, but they are nowhere near the level of quality you would see in the actual show. Right, let's get back to the game. You have all three Eds to control, each with their own unique abilities. Ed has the Batter Ed, which makes him a literal battering ram, and he's able to pick up items and throw them. Double D can trampoline to higher areas, mess with switches, and uses Slingshot. And Eddy can stack himself on top of the others to grab hard-to-reach items, and use what this game calls El Mongo Stink Bomb! You'll be making literal use of these moves in each level. More some than others, like Scam 1 is the Ed show, picking up squirrels to terrorize Sarah and Jimmy because fuck these two. Alright, we got the ice now, but now we need something to make the snow cones with. Thankfully, Rolf has something we need, but he's not letting the Eds mess with his machine. With a little persuasion and setting his picks loose, Rolf does allow the Edds to use his machine only after putting the pigs back in the pen. Just like that, we're done. Only for the plan to backfire because the snow cones taste like meat. And it just ends there. I mean, the level is fine, but it's not a very great start in my opinion. Like, the stage just ends, there's no real conclusion to this. Between each level, we are sent to the cul-de-sac. Not much to do here besides wander off to the next stage and get some jawbreakers from the candy machine. Scam 2, Pin the Tail on the Edd. Jimmy is having a birthday party in his backyard and invites everyone except the Edds because of course. Ed suggests to sneak into the party through the sewer system. Only problem is the sewer is filled with rats, toxic waste, and an alligator! Which also means fighting them off, and the combat's kinda bad. I mean, it works, but you have little to no invincibility frames, meaning enemies can just continually attack you, and you can't do a damn thing about it sometimes, like these fucking clams. Get off! Which is especially worse for certain stages, which I'll get to later. Johnny is also there clam fishing in the sewers, as he does. I mean, Johnny does whatever the hell he wants in the show. Not letting the Edds proceed until they help him lower the water level. They do, not before trying to feed plank to the clams.
Oh, how about that valve, Johnny? These clams look kinda hungry.
Plank says, bring it on, you sissies!
What the?
They do make it to the party, though everyone's gone, but there are some pianos we can still break for some jawbreakers, plates of fish, and cats. That's until the cankers show up and do their canker thing, by which I mean straight up sexual harassment. The Edds fend them off with the help of some beehives and falling refrigerators. The cankers flee, but it's too late for the Edds as the party's already over. Well, at least they get to suck on the icing from the candles? Or Ed does. Yeah, this level sucks. I don't like it. Scam 3. Must be something I Edd. The candy store is giving away free jawbreakers. The store, however, is about to close and we need to rush to it before it does. The only problem is that the kids keep getting in our way. First, Jimmy and Sarah demanding the Edds to get Jimmy's stuffed animals out of the trees. How the hell did they get up there? Next is Kevin forcing us to knock down all these trash cans he set up. And there. Wait, why is the timer still ticking down?
Losers!
Oh, bullshit, I got everything. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, there. Are you fucking kidding me? Man, this programming's great.
Come back here! I'm not finished with you! Damn!
And then there's Johnny, who refuses to give his honey to the Edds to attract the bees away from the exit. I know how we can solve this.
Slow down! They got me, Plank!
So long, sucker. Finally, they make it to the store, where Eddy eats a foot powder-covered jawbreaker that turns his face green. Why the hell are they selling this in the store if it's not meant to be consumed? That sounds like a lawsuit in the making. So now we have to back through the entire level and sneak past the kids, and you guessed it, the mandatory stealth sequence. And the only time we see Naz on a stage, she doesn't even get a voice roll either, so that's pretty weird. She's the only character to not have that. I don't know why.
Friendly hunter-killer drone deployed.
The Edds do successfully make it back to Eddy's house, only for the kids to surprise them and start taking pictures of Eddy's face. This one's kind of a dud too. Didn't really enjoy this one, despite being one of the more prettier levels in this game. I still think this game looks nice. Scam 4. Ed on arrival. The Edds accept the challenge offered by Rolf to successfully traverse the construction site to earn an Urban Ranger badge. Otherwise, Kevin will receive it instead, which include walking over pits, reconnecting some batteries, a fight with Victor. What kind of fight was that? And, oh, finally. I actually kind of like this level. It's not much of a competition in terms of quality from the previous ones, but I do enjoy the obstacles, and the race against Kevin at the end is probably the most exciting this level will get. I just hope you like trumpets and bad audio mixing. All this for Rolf to rev up the badge and split it between the Edds. Yeah. Scam 4. Nightmare on Edd Street. Jimmy's Mr. Yum Yum somehow ended up trapped in the old abandoned house. The Edds offered to get the bunny back, only for a few quarters. All a part of Eddy's plan, as he had Ed put the rabbit in there to begin with, but it turns out the cankers have their own plans for them, threatening to cut up the rabbit unless they bring them some gifts, which include a ship in a bottle, a can of axle grease, and a book on taxidermy. So I'm not going to question it though, girls have their hobbies.
The taxidermy part, however, is very concerning.
Now this is where the game becomes Resident Ed evil, having the Eds explore the house and backtrack to previous areas to unlock doors to proceed. I quite dig this one. I mean, it's also based on one of my favorite episodes of the show for this one gag alone.
Hi, Eddy!
Dude's head's a raisin. My only real complaint with this level is having to use the Tower of Eddy a lot. It's always felt flimsy trying to move past these swinging objects, especially given how tiny the boards are. Mr. Yum Yum is sick. Or not. The Eds really can't catch a break, even if it's their own fault to begin with, but whatever. With that, we're on to the final scam. But before we do, let's look at some of the unlockables you get from exploiting these chickens. Ed wouldn't do such a thing. Not much to them besides having a big and small head mode, a costume from a level we'll talk about soon, and there are extra videos, one being a trailer for the game, one being the music video of My Best Friend Plank, which totally should have been The Incredible Shrinking Day, that was the much better video in my opinion, and one being the voice recording for the game. Don't get too excited, it's just still images of the Ed's voice actors. And that's it, I really question the point of this one. Also, you ever heard Tony Sampson's work in the anime Project Arms? It's basically as if Eddy just goes off the deep end, it's genuinely fantastic.
Time to bend over and kiss your ass goodbye!
Too bad he was threatened to be blacklisted from the industry all because he asked for a raise. That actually happened.
Pay your voice actors.
While there are 6 scams, there are 2 additional ones you can unlock by digging in these sandboxes and collecting the costumes. So let's start with the first one you can unlock. Edzilla. This one being a hodgepodge of a couple episodes. The ones where the Eds create a city of cardboard in an alley, and the other being the episode where Ed becomes a horror movie monster. Well, it's an Ed-only level where you smash up buildings till you reach a fight with the mutated Canker sisters using chunky pups from the factory the Cankers are on.
I really shouldn't be eating this.
It's an alright level with a bit one note. The monster movie aesthetic is what keeps this level from being forgettable though. And then there's the second level, based on one of the best episodes in the show,
Robot Rebel Ranch!
which is ironic, as I think this is the worst level in the game. They couldn't even get the name of it right, what the hell is this? It starts with Ed dying. They say kidnapped, but nah man, that dude's dead. I love the look of it and how there's brand new enemies to fit this theme, but they're also one of the reasons why I dislike it. They infinitely respawn if you don't destroy their spawn points, and there's just so many of them, like... are they cloning Jimmy? Oh god, one Jimmy's already enough. The combat was never that fun, but my god, having a level filled with it is just frankly really annoying. Especially since some enemies have projectiles, which is a total pain in the ass. It ends with a boss battle against this giant cowboy robot, and still to this day I don't know the intended way to fight this thing. I see the hackable panels, but they don't seem to do anything. Even as a kid, I always go to this one spot where a jawbreaker's hiding, jump on top of this barrel, and then just shoot the dude down from behind this box. It can't do anything at this point, like, damn, this is just... yeah. And it ends with Ed getting yelled at by Sarah because dinner is ready. And that's it. That's just how it ends. Now let's get on to the final level of the game. Scam 6, Ed's Marked the Spot. Also, I know I'm late to saying this, but despite it being called scams, they're really not. Hell, I think the only one that can be considered a scam is the first level, and even then it's just a prelude to a plan that never goes through. Like, a what? Okay, small tangent over. They're in Eddy's room about ready to chow down on some jawbreakers. That's until they learn they've been stolen by someone, leaving a piece of a map that the Eds now have to complete. With the other pieces to be held by Johnny, which we knock into the atmosphere, Jimmy, who is trying to make origami out of it, and only give it up for a jawbreaker. We do give him a jawbreaker-shaped spider nest, because fuck Jimmy. And finally, Rolf's goat, who's chewing down on it, and we have to dance with the goat, as Rolf says. I want to fight Victor again? No. Why is the game giving the option for this? And it turns out, you guessed it, the Cankers stolen the Ed's jawbreakers, and then now we have to fight them underneath their trailer house, in this frankly sucky-ass final boss. You have to use Ed to carry and toss these barrels into these panels to turn off the electricity in the water, Sounds simple enough, except there's always this one I swear does not want to work. Like, look at how many barrels I've tossed at it, and it's still up. I don't get it. What's going on? What's more annoying is that there's also red squirrels that infinitely respawn, and the cankers throwing so many kisses to a point where it feels like I'm playing a Toho game. But finally, the Edds get their jawbreakers back, only for them to be trapped by the cankers in a wedding ceremony where the game ends. Yep, that's just how it ends. It's fitting for an episode of the show, but for a game, it leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, especially after that boss battle. A shame too, because I think this level beforehand was pretty solid. Minus having to go through this segment with swinging tires and slippery mud puddles, this one just straight up sucked.
And that was the Mis-edventures, and it's alright. It's very hit and miss throughout. There are some stages I liked, some that I didn't, and frankly some I was just very indifferent towards. I wouldn't call this a bad game. Plus, the game's only 3 hours long, so it's a very quick trip. But it could have been a lot worse, to be honest. Maybe one day I'll go back and cover the GBA version along with Jawbreakers, and possibly Scam of the Century, I don't know. But that's for another time. For now, though, I've been SonicMan, and before I go, I was originally going to make a gag where I was going to buy a Jawbreaker and taste it for the first time on camera. But the problem is, Jawbreakers go for like $20. I'm not spending $20 for something I may not even like.